The wind howls across the fjord, scouring the land clean, its icy breath sweeping over the frozen expanse. Snow swirls in wild eddies, erasing footprints and swallowing sound, leaving only the relentless roar of the storm. In this harsh, beautiful wilderness, every day is a test of endurance and spirit. Snow clings to the longhouse, pressing down on the turf roof, weighing heavy on the ancient timbers. Inside, the warmth of the hearth is a fragile barrier against the cold, and the walls creak under the burden of winter. The longhouse is both sanctuary and prison, sheltering families from the biting wind, yet holding them close in the darkness. It's the heart of a Scandinavian winter in the Viking Age, cold, dark, and unforgiving. The sun barely rises, casting only a pale glow before sinking again, and the forest looms, silent and watchful, its secrets hidden beneath a shroud of snow. Survival is earned daily, every resource precious, every meal a victory. Firewood is gathered with numb fingers, and food is rationed with care. The stores from autumn dwindle, and each day brings new uncertainty. In these conditions, even the smallest success is celebrated. A triumphant shout pierces the storm. The hunting party returns, faces roar from the wind, bearing a massive elk. Their breath steams in the frigid air, and exhaustion is etched into every movement, but their eyes shine with pride. The return of the hunters is a moment of hope, a promise that the clan will endure another day. The animal is more than food, it's hope for the clan. It means warmth, strength, and the chance to gather together in gratitude. The villagers crowd around, relief and joy mingling on their faces, for this bounty will sustain them through the long, cold nights ahead. The community stirs as the elk is lowered to the ground, steam rising in the cold air. Children peer from behind their mothers, elders offer blessings, and the hunters are welcomed as heroes. The air is thick with anticipation, for this moment is a rare reprieve from hunger. Now comes the real challenge: how to cook and preserve such a bounty without modern tools. Every part of the animal must be used, nothing wasted. The clan works together, skinning, cutting, and preparing the meat, knowing that their survival depends on skill and cooperation. The Vikings lacked large metal cauldrons. Their solutions were born of necessity. They heated stones in the fire, using them to boil water in wooden troughs or to roast meat in earth ovens. Ingenuity and tradition guided their hands as they drew on the wisdom of their ancestors. They turned to earth, stone, and fire, ingenious methods honed over generations. These ancient techniques transformed raw meat into nourishing meals and preserved food for the lean months to come. Their survival depended on deep knowledge of the land and relentless will. In the frozen north, every day was a battle, but together the Vikings endured, bound by courage, resourcefulness, and the unbreakable ties of kinship. Metal was rare and precious in the Viking world. A large iron cauldron was a symbol of wealth, not a household staple. Most families had only basic tools: knives, maybe an axe. Cooking for a crowd was a logistical puzzle without big pots. Every part of a hunted animal had to be used. Waste was not an option. The Vikings didn't lament what they lacked. They used what they had: earth, stone, and fire. They engineered cooking solutions from the landscape itself. This was sophisticated bushcraft, not primitive improvisation. The earth became their oven, demanding planning and communal effort. Scarcity became a catalyst for collective ingenuity. The secret to cooking a whole elk was the pit hearth, or sod oven. Vikings dug large pits lined with carefully chosen stones, granite, gneiss, or basalt, to withstand intense heat. A roaring fire heated the stones for hours, turning the pit into a subterranean oven. Once the stones glowed, embers were cleared, leaving a chamber of radiant heat. This earth oven trapped heat and moisture, cooking meat slowly and evenly. The process was a feat of thermal engineering, using only natural materials. The air filled with wood smoke, signaling a feast in the making. The The pit hearth was a communal event, uniting the settlement in anticipation. It was a masterful adaptation to a world without metal cookware. Preparing the elk for the pit was an art, passed down through generations of hunters and cooks. Every step was deliberate, each movement guided by tradition and necessity. The process began with careful butchering, ensuring that every usable part of the animal was preserved for the feast. Nothing was wasted, and the respect for the animal was evident in the meticulous preparation. The meat was wrapped in fresh leaves and damp moss, sometimes even the animal's own hide, to seal in moisture and flavor. This natural wrapping acted as a barrier, protecting the meat from the harsh heat of the stones and infusing it with earthy aromas. The choice of leaves and moss was important, often selected for their subtle flavors and ability to retain moisture. Wild herbs were added for aroma and hot stones placed inside the cavity. The herbs, gathered from the surrounding forest, might include juniper, wild garlic, or even spruce tips, each lending its own unique scent and taste. The hot stones not only cooked the meat from within, but also helped to evenly distribute heat throughout the bundle. The bundle was lowered onto the hot stones, more stones placed on top, then sealed with turf. This created a natural oven, locking in heat and steam. The pit was carefully constructed, lined with stones that had been heated in a roaring fire, and then covered with layers of earth and turf to trap the warmth inside. The earth oven cooked the elk slowly, sometimes overnight. This slow, gentle cooking method broke down tough fibers, transforming the meat into something incredibly tender. The anticipation built as the hours passed, with the aroma of roasting meat seeping through the ground. When opened, fragrant steam billowed out, revealing meat so tender it fell from the bone. The unveiling was a moment of excitement as everyone gathered to witness the results of their labor and patience. The flavors were rich, smoky, and deeply satisfying, a true reward for the effort. Archaeological finds confirm this method. Pits of fire-cracked rocks and animal bones mark ancient feasts. These remnants tell the story of communal gatherings, where people came together to share food and celebrate survival. The evidence of these ancient ovens can still be found, offering a glimpse into the lives of our ancestors. Earth oven cooking turned a hard-won hunt into a communal celebration. The meal was more than just sustenance. It was a time to bond, to honor the animal, and to strengthen the ties of the community. Around the fire, stories were shared and traditions passed on. It was survival, ingenuity, and culture, all in one, a testament to the resourcefulness and spirit of those who came before us. For daily meals, Vikings relied on soapstone, soft, carvable, and heat-resistant. This remarkable stone was found in the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, where it could be quarried with simple tools. Its unique properties made it a staple in every Viking household, shaping the way families cooked and ate together. Soapstone pots were shaped by hand, thick-walled for durability, yet efficient at conducting heat. Craftsmen would spend hours carving and smoothing each vessel, ensuring it could withstand the rigors of open-fire cooking. The result was cookware that could last for years, even decades, with proper care. These vessels came in many sizes, from personal bowls to family pots. Some were small enough for a single meal, while others could feed an entire household. The variety reflected the needs of Viking life, from solitary travelers to bustling feasts. Soapstone absorbed and radiated heat slowly, perfect for simmering stews and porridge. This gentle, even warmth allowed food to cook thoroughly without scorching, making it ideal for hearty Viking recipes that needed time to develop flavor. The stone's steady warmth prevented burning and preserved nutrients. Meals could be left to cook for hours, filling the home with rich aromas and ensuring that every bite was nourishing, even in the harshest winters. If a pot cracked, it was repaired with iron staples. These were treasured tools, not disposable items. Each repair told a story of resourcefulness and respect for the materials at hand. as families worked to extend the life of their precious cookware. Archaeological sites reveal quarries and half-finished pots, evidence of this essential craft. The remains of tools and discarded fragments show just how central soapstone was to daily survival and how much skill was required to shape it. Soapstone pots were passed down through generations, vital for survival. These vessels became family heirlooms, connecting people to their ancestors and the meals they once shared. The quiet skill of making and mending them was as important as hunting. Mastery of this craft meant the difference between hunger and comfort, and it was a source of pride for those who practiced it. Stone, not metal, was the heart of the Viking kitchen. In a world where resources were precious, soapstone cookware stood as a testament to ingenuity, endurance, and the quiet artistry of everyday life. Vikings were always on the move, hunters, traders, explorers. In the wild, they needed quick, portable cooking methods. Spit roasting was fundamental. A green branch, a fire, and patience. Meat was skewered and slowly turned over embers, crisping outside, staying juicy inside. Ember cooking was another trick. Food wrapped in leaves, buried in hot ash, cooked in its own steam. No pots or pans required, just fire and ingenuity. These methods were adaptable, perfect for life on the trail or at sea. The Vikings' deep knowledge of fire made them masters of the wild. Their flexible skills were key to their success as explorers. Bushcraft was not just survival, it was a way of life. Preserving meat was as crucial as cooking it. Vikings mastered smoking, drying, and salting to store food for winter and voyages. Meat was hung in smoky rafters, slowly cured by the hearth fire. Thin strips were wind-dried outdoors, becoming lightweight, durable provisions. When salt was available, it was used to pack meat in wooden chests, drawing out moisture. Often methods were combined, light salting, then smoking or drying. These skills meant survival through the darkest months. Racks of drying fish and smoked meat were the true wealth of a Viking household. Viking cooking and preservation were born of scarcity, but revealed deep ingenuity. They turned earth into ovens, carved stone into pots, and harnessed wind and smoke to survive. These were sophisticated, practical solutions, not primitive relics. Skills were passed down through hands-on experience, binding communities together. Today, these methods remind us that resourcefulness is about seeing potential, not just having tools. The principles of earth ovens, spit roasting, and natural preservation are the roots of modern bushcraft. By learning these old ways, we reconnect with resilience and adaptability. The Viking legacy is not just history, it's a lesson in thriving against the odds.